P is for pickles and kicking the snot out of the Panthers. Let's talk about the game.
Elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
And then the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
So by rule, the game is over.
The Lions Hangover.
All right, welcome to a very delayed episode of the Detroit Lions Hangover podcast. I am your glamorous host, as always, Brad. Thank you so much for, let's see if I can straighten that out. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube and, of course, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give me a follow on all of the social medias. You got X, Instagram, and Facebook. Because I'm a cool dude, so just follow me. Yeah. So the Lions defeated, no surprise, the Carolina Panthers at Ford Field on Sunday. Carolina Panthers dropped to 0-5. The Detroit Lions go up to 4-1 with sole possession of the NFC North. So let's talk about the initial thoughts of the game. I thought the offense played solid. I thought Jared Goff played solid. David Montgomery ran the ball like a champ. We will get into those stats in just a second. Even Craig Reynolds did a great job, and David Montgomery is an awesome cheerleader for him. We can talk about that in a little bit. Aiden Hutchinson leads all defensive linemen all time with 4 interceptions in his first, 20 games? Where are we at? Where are we at right now? 22 games, I think, in his career. So he leads the league all time with that record. Jerry Jacobs gets another interception that's 3 in 2 games. So that's pretty solid. And the Panthers pretty much couldn't do anything. I mean, Bryce Young had a solid day, but he also threw 2 interceptions. And Adam Thielen had a solid day, but it doesn't matter because they pretty much got stomped. It was pretty much all Lions from the get-go. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, a little bit of gas there. So let's break it down. We'll go back and forth. Box score. Here we go. No. That's not what we want. Right? No, that's not what we want. All right. Thanks for bearing with me on that. Okay, so with 9:41 into the first quarter, David Montgomery breaks a huge run for 42 yards and scores a touchdown. Riley Patterson, of course, on the extra point. Riley Patterson hit on all of his extra points today, so kudos to him. We did not kick a field goal, so he wasn't necessarily tested at that point. There was a time when I thought we should have kicked the field goal. We'll talk about that in a little bit too, I think. Next, we have another Detroit Lions touchdown from Mr. Sam Laporta with 4:53 remaining in the first quarter. That was a 4-yard pass from Mr. Jared Goff. Next, Carolina comes back with a Tommy Tremble 1-yard pass from Bryce Young. So that makes things 14-7. Next, we have a Josh Reynolds 1-yard pass from Jared Goff. That makes things 21-7 if you're keeping track. And Sam Laporta gets another one this is the double reverse flea flicker, which was a crazy, amazing play. And I'm sure you've seen by now that San Francisco copied this exact play later in the day. Same thing. Threw it to the tight end, George Kittle, and he scored double reverse flea flicker. I love it. I feel like that is a touchdown 90% of the time. 90% of the time. And you can run variations of that play if you wanted to. You could just do a double reverse. And they're all going to be thinking, oh my God, it's the double reverse flea flicker. Just run the double reverse. It would have been amazing. But that one worked out, of course, for the 31-yard touchdown. That was 3:21 left in the half. And then, of course, with 6 seconds left in the half, Carolina kicks a 33-yard field goal, making things 28-10 going into halftime. Coming out of halftime, of course, and there was the Aiden Hutchinson interception, which we will talk about when we get to the defense. Right now, this is just the scoring stats. So Lions, no scoring into the third quarter, leading 28-10. At this point, you're still feeling pretty confident. Carolina hasn't been able to do anything all day. Detroit is pretty much doing whatever they want. So early into the fourth quarter, 14:58 remaining, Jared Goff showing his scrambling ability, wink, wink, and runs it in for a 1-yard touchdown. I actually like this call, even though I think I wanted David Montgomery to get it. Next, we have a touchdown from DJ Chark for Carolina. Good for DJ. We love him, right? Kudos, and it doesn't hurt us none because the Lions still won. So I'm happy he got a touchdown today. That was an 18-yard pass, of course, from Bryce Young, making the score 35-17. That's with 11:52 remaining into the fourth quarter. Next, Craig Reynolds with a 5-yard run. Now, they took Montgomery out to give him a rest. The game was in control. I actually thought we would see more Bridgewater. Instead, he just came out for the victory formation at the very end. But I did think we would see Bridgewater halfway through the fourth quarter. But instead, Goff stayed in the game, which that was fine too. But Craig Reynolds, he ran the ball efficiently. I liked his ball carrying vision. I thought he ran really well. Of course, it was garbage time, and Carolina was already probably deflated, but regardless, it was good to see Craig Reynolds. He ran efficiently and dominantly, and he almost came out of the game. But then you see David Montgomery waving him in like, no, stay in. And so he did, and, kudos to David Montgomery and kudos to Craig Reynolds. But, yeah, 5-yard touchdown run. He gets his first touchdown. I think his first career touchdown, which that doesn't seem to make sense. What has he been in the league, 3 years now? Something like that? Maybe 4? I think it's 3, though. But that makes the score 42-17. That was with 7:27 remaining. And then finally, Adam Thielen, 1:55 remaining in the game. He gets a 1-yard touchdown pass from Mr. Bryce Young, 42-24. Now, I have to say, defensively, the Lions had a lot of pressure on Bryce Young. There was not much he could do. He didn't seem he could scramble. They were constantly chasing him down. There were times, I think, in the middle of the game where I feel like maybe they weren't getting after him like they were originally. But ultimately, the presence was felt. The Lions allowed less than 100 yards rushing, 99 to be exact. Again, I think, what are they averaging? Like, what's the stat right now? Something about 60.8 yards a game they're allowing rushing. And that is the best, since 2000. I'm going to get this one wrong. 2011? I've heard a lot of stats and a lot of years lately. So I'm not entirely sure about that. But let's talk about stats for the Lions. Jared Goff went 20 of 28, a near perfect game for 236 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and a quarterback rating of 132.4. Now, I've historically have had mixed feelings about Jared Goff over his time here in Detroit. A lot of times I feel like he's been lacking something, and even now I feel like he is lacking a little. I don't know how to say it, a little something to make him elite. However, he is playing fantastic. He deserves all the credit right now. He's playing smart. Even when he was a little bit careless with the football, the turnovers, they haven't hurt us. The Lions are just playing really good football on both sides of the ball, and that really starts with Jared Goff being a leader in the locker room and on the field. I know that was such a cliche, but I said it, so deal with it. So David Montgomery ran the ball 19 times for 109 yards with 1 touchdown. He's a touchdown scoring machine right now. Of course, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brian Branch, they did not play. So this was kind of set up for, you could see like an excuse forming, but the Lions didn't let any excuses happen. They just came out there and they whooped ass. So there's nothing else to say for that. Craig Reynolds ran the ball 7 times for 52 yards for a 7.4 yard per carry average. That is amazing. His longest being a 19-yarder. David Montgomery's is, of course, a 42-yard long. So 3 touchdowns on the ground, Montgomery, Reynolds, and Goff. Bridgewater did come out later in the game and did the victory formation, where they just kneel the ball let the clock run out. Josh Reynolds led the team in receptions and yards, 4 receptions for 76 yards. Laporta was there with 3 receptions for 47 yards. 2 of those 3 were, of course, touchdowns, the longest being the 31-yard double reverse flea flicker. Khalif Raymond had 3 catches for 45 yards. Marvin Jones finally on the stat sheet with 2 catches for 22 yards. Montgomery added another 20 yards to his stats with 2 catches as well. Brock Wright, he's making an appearance on the stat sheet, 3 catches for 16 yards, and Jameson Williams, 2 catches for 1 yard. Not a great day for Jameson Williams. Of course, he had that key block that led to, I think, the David Montgomery touchdown. Was it his run? I think so. Jameson Williams had a drop today or on Sunday that if he had it, it would have been a perfect opportunity for him to showcase his speed and his elusiveness. But unfortunately, it was actually a great throw by Jared Goff, too. There was no reason that Jameson Williams couldn't catch this ball, and it was kind of a letdown. I think you can feel the fans beginning to turn on him. I don't think that's fair. He hasn't played football all year, and he's got some cobwebs. No matter what you think, it's going to take him a bit to get up to speed. I look for his production to grow. I think, the Lions spent a first-round draft pick on this kid. He's going to get it together. You have to have faith in that. I'm not going to harp on Jameson Williams yet. You can't call him a bust yet. He's played, 5 games now? That's too early to tell as far as what kind of a draft pick he's going to turn out to be. But you just have to believe the Lions drafted him for a reason. Brad Holmes picked him for a reason. They traded up to get him for a reason. It is only a matter of time before we see him shine. So just be patient with him. It's going to get better. And even if he doesn't get better, the Lions still have depth. There's still Josh Reynolds. There's still Sam Laporta. There's still Jahmyr Gibbs when he's healthy. There's still David Montgomery. There's still Khalif Raymond. It's this Lions offense is stacked. They are in position to go far this year. So even if Jameson Williams, just be patient. There should be no pressure on him. I know he's probably eager to make an impact on offense and eager to show all of us what he's capable of, and I believe he will. He's got nothing to worry about. They just got to keep giving him opportunities to prove what he can do. So, yeah. Let's see, tackle or defense. Let's talk about defense. Alex Anzalone had himself a day. 11 tackles, 8 solo tackles. He is everywhere on the field. I really like the play of Alex Anzalone. Will Harris, I thought he had a solid game. 9 total tackles, 7 solo. Derek Barnes, 6 tackles. I'm not going to read them all. Kirby Joseph, 5 tackles. Cam Sutton, 5 tackles. I guess I am going to read them all. Just kidding. Jerry Jacobs, I thought he's starting to come along pretty good. Where's it at? I know he had the interception. I want to see this stuff. Okay, Jerry Jacobs, 1 interception for 11 yards, and Aiden Hutchinson, 1 interception for 6 yards. Only 1 sack on the day, and that was from Hutch. Man, Hutch is the man. And he took a huge hit on that interception. And I was happy that he was able to get up and come back and play. But he's probably got a huge mark on his thigh. That was a pretty big hit. So, but it was an even sweeter interception. It was super reflexes. You can't believe how amazing he is. So he's really paid off. As a draft, he's everything you wanted a draft pick to be, especially last year, and he is seriously only going to get better, which is scary. It's hard to think that he's going to get many more interceptions in his career. Defensive linemen just do not get interceptions. Jack Fox only had 2 punts today, but both of those were inside the 20, so he is I mean, I just ran through all the stats. I can do Panther stats if you want to. Yeah, sure. Let's do that, Brad. Let's run through some quick Panther stats. Bryce Young went 25 of 41 for 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His quarterback rating was 82. This is about as mediocre as you can get. He definitely the Hutchinson interception was not necessarily his fault. It was more of a freak play by Hutchinson, but it was still poor awareness by Bryce Young. I mean, he practically threw it to Hutchinson, but you got to think 9 out of 10 times nobody's going to make that play, but he should never have thrown that ball. Chuba Hubbard was the leading rusher for the Panthers. He ran 9 times for 35 yards. Miles Sanders ran 7 times for 32 yards. And Laviska Shenault Jr. ran the ball 5 times for 27 yards. Of course, Bryce Young and Andy Dalton had their own little rushing things, but just 1 or 2 times. Adam Thielen having himself a day for Carolina. He caught the ball 11 times for 107 yards and 1 touchdown. Jonathan Mingo 5 times for 48 yards, and DJ Chark 3 times for 42 yards, plus that touchdown in the game. Miles Sanders had a lost fumble. Oh, yeah, that's the one. We also had a fumble recovery too, didn't we? Who recovered that? You sneaky guys. Will Harris. Will Harris had that recovery, didn't he? Yes, he did. So the Lions with 3 turnovers that day. That's pretty amazing. 3 takeaways, I should say. No standouts, although they did have 2 sacks. Carolina had 2 sacks on Jared Goff. C.J. Henderson got 1, and Brian Burns got the other. So overall, just a solid performance from the Lions. They didn't allow Carolina to do anything. You know, Carolina's desperate to get their first win. The Bears got their first win against Washington earlier in the week, and I'm sure the Panthers were thinking, hey, maybe this is the week for us. But they really came in kind of flat. Ford Field was rocking. Eminem was there, so he knows what it's all about. What? Way to go, Eminem. It felt like, hey, we were so close to Eminem. It's like we were there watching the game with him. I mean, we were, but it felt like we were buddies. That's probably pretty crazy. So where do we go from here? This week, I should say, we are traveling to Tampa Bay for a 4:25 kickoff. That time was flexed from 1 o'clock to the 4:25 slot. It is going to be Fox's second premier game, not the game of the week, but it is going to be like the second tier game. So more people are going to be able to see this game. So that's exciting. You love when the Lions are getting closer and closer to more and more primetime games. We are must-see TV, almost as good as Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but I don't know. We got to work on it. We got to get Eminem to show up to more games. Yeah. Would that bring in viewers? Will people watch the game if they know Eminem is there at the game? Are they going to show Eminem on TV like 30 times cheering on the Lions? They should. I'd rather see Eminem at a game than Taylor Swift. Like, I don't hate Taylor Swift. I just don't think it's a big deal that she goes to the game. And I don't think it's a big deal that Travis Kelce is dating her. Stupid Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift. Yeah. Okay. So the Lions with only 23 first downs. Carolina had 26 first downs. I've never read these stats before. That's pretty cool. Total yards, 377 for the Lions and 342 for the Panthers. But the Lions had the ball one more time than the Panthers did, and I believe it was because of all of the turnovers that they had. That was pretty sweet, right? Rushing yards, the Lions had 159 on the ground, 159 yards total between everybody. And like I said earlier, Carolina only had the 99. Penalties, the Panthers had 7 penalties for 45 yards. The Lions had 5 penalties for 35 yards. It's not horrible, but you definitely want them to clean that up. Lions continue to win the takeaway battle. That is important. I'm just kind of stalling as I wrap up for time here. The attendance, wow, man, they've got everything on this. 63,648 people were there. It's pretty good. I was 4 of those people. I'm 4 of those people every week. Yeah, boy. Detroit. Love it. So, yeah, the Lions go to take on Tampa Bay next week. I'll just get back to that. I'll stop rambling. So, Baker Mayfield, he is playing solid this year. Better. He's playing better. Tampa Bay is 2-1, I believe, right? Let's look them up real quick. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, bro. They are first in the NFC South. 3-1. They are 3-1 over the second place 3-2 Falcons and 3-2 Saints, and of course the Panthers are 0-5. So this is our second straight NFC South matchup. The Buccaneers have scored 84 points so far, so that's an average of 21 points per game. They've allowed 68 points so far, and so what is that? Over 4 games? I don't know. 18? No, it's like 16 points a game, something like that. 17. I don't know. I'm not good at math. Numbers is hard. They are 1-1 at home, so that means that 2 of their games have been on the road that they've won, and they won the last time they played. They're coming off of a bye week, so I don't exactly have all of the stats for them, but it's going to be a winnable game for the Lions. Very winnable. If they are playing like they are playing, it doesn't matter where they play at. They should be able to handle it. So far, they've responded well to being in a national spotlight. So with this being a semi-national game, I think the Lions are primed to win this one. Hopefully, they'll have a Tampa Bay team that's kind of sleeping because they're coming off of the bye week. So maybe they're feeling a little bit rested and rusted. The Lions, though, they seem to be hitting their stride. So hopefully we will get St. Brown back. Hopefully we will have Jahmyr Gibbs back. Hopefully we will have Brian Branch back. Oh, man, and I should mention Emmanuel Mosley. Of course, everybody knows that he tore his right ACL after just 2 plays, after being out for an entire year, and almost a year to the day that he tore his left ACL, he tears his right ACL. And that sucks. I was really excited to have him on the team this year. I don't know what that means for him in the future, but he is out at least another 12 months. So no matter where he goes, it's going to be a while before he plays again. I would not be opposed to the Lions bringing him back, but that means he likely will not play until next November or even next December. So I don't know if I would sign him to a contract. Maybe he should just take next year off and do like a long rehab, and hopefully he can land somewhere. I would definitely be interested in bringing him back, but at a reduced cost, Let me know what you guys think. How do you guys feel about Mosley and bringing him back? And how do you guys feel about Jameson Williams? I love everybody's comments on the YouTube page. I try to get to everybody that does make a comment. So far, I think I've been successful at that. But of course, if I get super famous and there's like 1,000 comments, I'm obviously not going to be able to respond to all of those. But I do appreciate everybody that's commented so far. I love the chatter. I love the thumbs ups. I love the subscribes. I love the follows. So don't forget YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter. So give me a follow. Give me a like. I think that's it. You guys have a good rest of your week, and I'm going to get an episode out right after the Lions game on Sunday. That is a promise. I've got nothing going on that Sunday, and I will be able to do it. So, yeah, don't worry about me, brah. All right, peace out. Drive safe.